Hi guys, thank you for coming back to Bree Bear's Books. We're on chapter 4, Turning the Page. This is a podcast of all things books, whether it is book reviews, book dives, where I talk more about the books I've been reading, or just about genres in general. So, I know last week I was sick, so I didn't actually get to post a chapter last week, so I'm kind of trying to make up for that. However, while I was sick, I was able to read quite a bit. I actually am on my 8th book. I'm less than 25% of the way finished. And then I will do a little bit more of a dive on there. So the first book I read was Reliving Fate by Natasha Preston. This one I considered a 4-star read, not quite a 5-star. This is a story about a girl named Bella. She finds her sister's diary years after her sister's death, but she has always felt that there was something off about it and more that probably happened, whereas everybody, her parents and the police said that it was a break-in gone wrong. Well, as I said, she finds her sister's diary and hoping that her diary will give her the answers that she's been looking for. So this book made me cry. I'm not going to lie. I cried in this book a lot. I don't know if it was just from personal attachment or something like that, but it definitely brought tears to my eyes, so I would be careful on that one. Silence by Natasha Preston was the second one, and I considered that a 5-star read. So this follows Oakley. She hasn't talked in 11 years. Her mom is still trying to find ways to get her to talk. Her dad just brushes it aside and doesn't care. And her friend Cole accepts her as she is. Cole and Oakley end up falling in love. Even though she doesn't speak, doesn't text, anything, he just gets her. Something happens to Oakley, and Cole gets a phone call that he never thought he would get. It is Oakley calling him and speaking and asking him for help. And then it goes on from there. So it is a very good book. Once again, it brought tears to my eyes. I didn't fully cry, but I was on the verge of it. Broken Silence is the next book I read, and it is the second book in the Silence trilogy. I think it's 3 books, if I remember correctly. If not, it's just the 2 in the series. That one is following book 1, and it follows the court case of what happened in book 1, so I can't dive into that one too much without giving away a lot of spoilers from the first one. The next book I read, if you can't find a trend here, was The Lost by Natasha Preston. That one I considered a 3-star. That's actually the first book of hers that I've given a 3-star to. This one, teens keep disappearing in a small town. A girl named Piper and her best friend Hazel think there's more going on, whereas the police and the rest of the town think that the missing teens are just runaways. So Piper and Hazel end up taking things into their own hands and going on a kind of like their own detective case and following it and trying to see what happens. That one made me mad multiple times. I yelled at the book. That was the one, if you have been listening to my podcast, in the first podcast when I was at, I believe, actually the second one too, that's the book I recommended to my mother-in-law for our monthly reading challenge for January. She also got mad at it a lot and kept yelling at it. But it is a good book. It's fast and it's a quick read. I will warn you, all of Natasha Preston's books end on like a cliffhanger or end in a way that you kind of have to make up the ending for yourself, and it's your perspective, which I personally love. I know a lot of people don't. The next one after that was Run to the Litter. This one was different. This one is about, it was a fantasy book. This one was about wolves. I did not know that it was the 6th book in a series. However, now I have downloaded the first 3 and I'm going to be reading those this week. It was a very fast read. That one was only 142 pages. I found it a 5-star read. I was intrigued by it the entire time. Absolutely loved it. So this is about a runt wolf named Tori. Jack, the beta of the pack, has always been protective of Tori and trying to help her. However, one day Jack makes a mistake that almost kills Tori, and her parents send her to live with her uncle, who isn't a wolf. Well, that uncle tries to help Tori to grow stronger and have a better chance of possibly surviving her transformation on her 18th birthday into a full wolf. That one, as I said, was a very quick read for me. It was only 142 pages, but I was completely in love with it. I gave it 5 stars out of 5 stars, and I will definitely be reading the rest of the books. I think that one is actually a 23 book series, if I remember correctly. It's a long series, but they're all short books. They're all about 100 to 200 pages. Not too many long books in that series. And then I moved on to another series called the Curvy Girls Club series. The first one I read was Curvy Girls Can't Date Quarterbacks. This follows Rory, who is a thicker girl, but she always liked the high school quarterback, Beckett. One day, she is in her mom's health class, and the mean girl, Merritt, keeps spreading kind of like these rumors about Rory and being rude to her and just being a bully. So Rory finally stands up to it, and Merritt makes a bet that if Rory can get Beckett to go to homecoming with her, even though she is plus size and looks the way she does, then she will give up her homecoming crown. Well, in the story, Rory finds new curvy friends like herself to help win that bet. So it is about a group of girls who are all thicker girls, who are all a part of the Curvy Girls Club, and they become friends due to the circumstance, but they also help her find out or find love with Beckett and get him to love her as well. And that was very interesting. And the second book I read was the second book in the series, which is Curvy Girls Can't Date Billionaires. This follows another one of the friends of the Curvy Girls Club. Her name is Jordan. She is a cleaner with her mom, and she and her mom are cleaning the school's billionaire's house. His name is Kai. She has always had a crush on Kai, and then she gets found in the bathroom with her shirt off by Kai, and he ends up giving her her phone number, or his phone number, sorry. And it goes on this adventure of if they can date each other. His dad hates cross dating just because of a bad experience that he personally had. So it talks about their adventure and if they even get to make it as a couple, even though they've fallen for each other. Which it was actually her mom's first rule when going to clean this billionaire's house was do not date his son. And that's exactly the opposite of what her daughter did. And then this last book I just finished, actually. It is Curvy Girls Can't Date Cowboys. This is following Georgia and her crush, Ray, the school cowboy. She gets partnered with Ray one day in their class. It's a media class, so they do a lot of filming and stuff like that and editing. Well, they get partnered together and they have to kind of get along. At first, she didn't really get along with him, but they grew closer as time went on, and stuff happened after they ended up falling for each other that made him push her away. So it's their story and if they can make it as a couple. The next one in the series I have downloaded. I just haven't started it yet. it is Curvy Girls Can't Date Bullies. I believe it's the next one. If not, it's no, sorry, it's the Curvy Girls Can't Date Bad Boys. I have that one and the next one, which is Curvy Girls Can't Date Best Friends, downloaded already on my phone. And those are the next ones I was going to read. If you actually listened to my previous podcast, you know I said that I was going to try to go away from romance stories in February, and that clearly didn't happen. I did last chapter explain some of the books I read earlier on in the month. These 8 books are just the ones that I've read in this last week, or 2 of them were audiobooks, so listen to. But I know the chapter before, chapter 2, I went and tried to predict the books that I wanted to read in February, which one was Mad About You by Mari McFarlane. I did actually end up reading that one, and it was really good. I gave it a 4-star out of 5. I will do more of a dive on that when I do my month summary when March gets here. So I'll do a month summary and tell you all the books that I read in February, how I felt about them, and if I would recommend them to you. The other books that I said I would like to read in February was Gravewater Lake by A.M. Strong and Sonia Sargent. I have it downloaded, but I haven't gotten a chance to read it. Within His Reach by Katie Rush, Tease Me Once by Willow Winters, and Reaper's Beginning by Alan Wolfstein. I have them all downloaded. I bought them and they're in my library. I just have not gotten the chance to read it yet, and I'm slowly dying and wanting to. But I fell in love with the book series Curvy Girls Club, so I'm on that bender right now until I can get through that. But I've been able to listen to those audiobooks and get through one a day basically, so I will continue doing that. As for the book of the month, I was given 1922 by Stephen King. I did a little bit of a dive on that one last chapter, and I gave it 4 stars. It was a very quick read. It kept me intrigued. It actually makes me kind of want to try and give another Stephen King book a chance, maybe a little bit of a longer one. As I've told you guys before, personally, I find his books hard to get into because they're slow in the beginning. I prefer those quick books that you can read through fast. Whether it can be 1,000 pages, it doesn't matter. I just like getting into them fast. Once I'm into them, I don't have a did not finish bookshelf at all. I cannot not finish a book. I will force myself to read it even if I don't like it. Even if it's a 1-star, I have to finish the book. So it's really hard for me to get into those those slow starts, the slow burners, because it is gonna be finished by me whether I like it or not. But I prefer the ones that do the quick pace and keep you interested from the very beginning. As for what I'm doing next, as I said, I'm reading those 2 audiobooks that I've downloaded, whether I read it or listen to the audiobooks. Other than that, I will be planning on doing my monthly review, which would actually be my first monthly review that I've done with you guys. And I will discuss everything that I've read in February, what I recommend, and then what I predict I will probably read in March. As you've seen, I don't stick to it. I actually went and did something completely different. So that is definitely something to look forward to in next chapter. I really am trying to get a little bit away from romance. I did want to get more into fantasy or try to give horror a try. So I'm going to try to give those a chance in March and put away the romance books. But of course, I'm going to finish the Curvy Girls Club first. And I've actually gotten a few recommendations on a couple fantasy books from people contacting me on my Facebook page at Bree Bears Books. And another one actually emailed me at breebearsbooks@gmail.com. No capital letters and no apostrophe in the email. And then Instagram, I also have. I'm not as active on Instagram. I'm more active on Facebook. But Instagram I have, and it's Bree Bears Books. Capital B on Bree Bears and Books, and then an apostrophe behind Bree Bear. So that one is, as I said, not as busy as the other ones. I check my email every day. I check YouTube every day. So if you comment, I will comment back. And I also check my Facebook so many times a day. It's unreal. But that one, I check all the time. So if you message me on any of those, then I will see them before I would see the Instagram one. I do try to check my Instagram once a day, but I'm just not as active. I am still working on getting I'm still working on getting my podcast on other platforms. I'm just trying to find the best fit for me personally, and I'm trying to get a little bit more into the podcast and get a little bit more of a following so I can actually take off on these podcasts. Another cool thing that happened over the week that I was sick was my sister-in-law actually made me a bookmark. It's super cute. She makes all kinds of bookmarks, car air fresheners, wristlets, keychains, stuff like that. If you want to, you can check her out at freshhopedesigns.com. She also has a Facebook and a TikTok at Fresh Hope Designs. She is absolutely amazing at what she does. She hand makes all of them and personalizes all of them, so definitely go give her a look. I absolutely love my bookmark that I bought from her. I'm actually thinking about buying a couple more and possibly making one, or asking her to try to make me one that is personalized to my podcast. So maybe one that says the podcast name or the ending, where I always tell you guys that there's always time for another chapter. I'm not sure yet, but I've been thinking about it and talking to her about it as well. Or maybe even getting that on my car air freshener or a sticker for my car or something like that. So it's definitely something you guys should check out. It's not sponsored at all. I'm not getting no money whatsoever for anything that I'm talking about. But she is just really great at what she does. And as I said, it was really cool to get a bookmark from her. Even though I purchased it, it was still she did a really great job. I was able to personalize the colors, the little trinket on it as well that has books, that has a book with flowers coming out of it, and it's just really cute. So definitely give her a look at freshhopedesigns.com. I will also leave her a link in the description in the YouTube channel below, so you can check it out. But other than that, I feel like we've done great at doing a dive today. As I said, I'll do another chapter in about a week, and it will go over everything in February, and kind of, it'll sum up the last two chapters, but we'll go more into depth about March than we will in February, because I've done two chapters now where it's reviewed the books that I read. So I'll just do a reminder or refresher in the next chapter, but then I will jump into what we plan to do for March and stuff like that. But until then, always remember that there's always time for another chapter. Thanks.